Doesn't have tits. Look, it's my sexy new body.
Rightio. Definitely definitely something, shall we say?
Definitely is something, isn't it? It's fabulous. It's absolutely fabulous. This is my Father's Day gift.
Okay. Okay. We're ready, I think. I have no idea.
Ready? Are you sure? Positive? 100%?
Just fucking this weekend, man. I'm fucking over it.
Anyway.
What?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Dorks Down Under, Season 3, Episode 27. I'm going to let him get his words in because I know the next question was, what are we going to discuss this week? I already knew it.
What are we going to discuss this week? Well, I knew that. I know that you spoke about that Netflix series.
Absolutely. Absolutely, which we should be talking about because it is sick.
Because I didn't even know about it, and then when I googled it, it said, "Oh, it gets released on Netflix in 12 hours," but then it didn't really say much else.
Oh, what? In 12 hours? It was live? All the episodes were there? What are you on
about? When I checked it, it said live in 12 hours.
Oh. Wait, is New Zealand on a different Netflix region than Australia? I thought we were connected.
We normally would. Oh. But yeah, no, I don't know. It must have been. It also was just on Google. It wasn't on Netflix. So I don't actually have Netflix.
Oh, okay. Anyway, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for our recent followers and subscribers. Please make sure you do like, share, and everything else, and blah blah blah, and all the other good stuff that we're going to talk about. This is episode 27. This is my episode. I've been waiting an hour.
Yes, I know. Sorry, no, we decided to go get some bread rolls at 10 o'clock, and then we decided to go to the shopping centre, which we found some bed shirts that Cherish wanted, so we bought 2 of those, but she wanted 8 of those because she has 8 for some reason.
Okay.
Then they didn't have them, so then we found another Target that did, so we drove there. And then when we got there, they would say they were in stock and we could click and collect. There were none there. Mm-hmm. There was one there, and then we drove to another one, and there was another one that supposedly they had 12 in stock, but they had none when we went there, even when we asked the lady. And all I've been doing is driving around looking for stupid bed shirts that, like, I just said to her, I'm like, I'll buy online, they're $10 each. But supposedly when she scanned them at one of the Targets, it came up as 5. So she wasn't willing to pay $10, she was only willing to pay 5, which just meant that then we had to drive around all fucking day.
Fabulous. Sounds great. Yes. It sounds like you've had a very entertaining afternoon. I've also had an entertaining afternoon. I've basically had a very chill day, being it's Father's Day. Got given
I forgot about that.
Got given some little bit of gifts, and I've been to the gym, and yeah, we then went to the pub and played some pool and had some beer, had a little snacky room, and yeah, it's been a great afternoon.
Why not?
Yeah, and sadly I've been playing on Helldivers, and oh god, it's going bad.
Oh really?
Oh well, we are 3 weeks into their 60-day turnaround. Yeah, and thing is not looking pretty, brother. They are trying. I think at this point the only way to fix it is that if they can somehow get around this PSN restriction thing through Steam, sort of thing. Because you remember when PlayStation said, "Oh no, you got to create a PlayStation account to play," and well, they said, "Oh, it's no longer mandatory." Basically, if you've already bought the game, you can do it. But the problem is that you can play the game, but none of your new friends could play the game in the local place because obviously they can't go there and buy it. So, yeah, it's kind of, I think, literally at this rate, the only thing that's going to fix it is if PlayStation back down entirely, and I've only just discovered today that apparently it wasn't just Helldivers that got affected by this. Apparently there was Wukong Online also, which is another big PlayStation game, that got suffered with it. But then there was another weird game, well, sorry, not a weird game, another restriction thing around online play was put on God of War Ragnarok.
Oh.
Which, I'll tell you now, has 0 online playability. So you don't play...
I didn't know whether it did.
No, there isn't any online multiplayer aspect to that game at all. So why PlayStation have demanded it? Obviously, at this point, someone pointed out to me on TikTok saying that obviously it was just PlayStation wanting more PlayStation account numbers to go up. and it kind of doesn't feel like that way. So I think it sucks. But on a brighter note, Space Marine 2 comes out this week, so I'm looking forward to that. So I think I'm going to have to swing by at some point and pick that up.
Unless PlayStation fucks something up there too.
Oh, no, I've already got a PlayStation, so it's fine, sort of thing, so it's not a bother for me. I'm just literally going to go along and buy that. I'm not going to buy the $200+ collector's edition. Jeez.
Oh, yeah.
When did collector's edition get this far out of hand? Don't get me wrong. I understand, special or maybe a couple of extra promo in-game items or something like that, but they are a lot. $200 for nothing, apart from a book and all this crap. I just don't get it.
Well, what was weird too, though, is remember, like I was saying the other day, that I got the Tiny Tina pack that had this special edition pack, and then ended up finding out later that it's not actually the game doesn't come with it. It's just a whole heap of collectibles, and I'm like, what? Why would you sell that?
I just don't get it. It's really funny though. The Helldivers 2 memes have now become, when Super Hervers let you down, join in the fight for the Emperor. So it's kind of, on this post thing. So you swipe across, and suddenly when Super Hervers let you down, you swipe across. It's like fight for the Emperor. So. Whoever's working at I don't know, is it Riot Games or whoever it is who's producing Space Marine 2, they are finger on the button and and utilizing it very smartly, because like all the hype's gone up now, because it's not only Tyranids in the game. Apparently we get to fight demons as well, which is awesome.
That's exciting.
Apparently in one of the trailers, for a very split second, and because we're in the modern day of social media, you get to see a Slaneshi demon, apparently. So I'm like, ooh, interesting. So
that's nice.
If there's Slaneshi demons, theoretically they could have all the other demons, and theoretically you could have Chaos Fish. There's a thousand different things you could tie.
That's the problem. Like, the lore is so insane that you're like, this could. Where's this going to end?
Honestly, I want to play it. I want to play a Space Marine. Well, I want to play a Space Marine game, but as a guardsman. Because I love the guard. I love the guard. I am a guard player. I am Astra Militarum, although it's the Imperial Guard and it always will be. I am Valhalla. I am a Valhallan Ice Warrior. I am a fan of them, sort of thing, and that's mainly from the Caiaphas Cain books. They that really got me, sort of thing, because he was the commissar for Valhallan units and all this jazz. It was really fun. So I want the Guardsman game. It's gonna suck. The difficulty should be maxed out, and you're not allowed to change it down. You've got to get good to play.
Yeah, and the problem is if you're a guardsman too, you're just not going to get anything.
Well, this is
you're going to just die.
For a tidbit of information, ladies and gentlemen, the average lifespan of an Astra Militarum / aka / a standard Imperial Guard person in the lore of Warhammer 40k is 15 hours. The average lifespan. So yeah, I do want, but it'd be so fun as a game. Come on, it would be good. It would.
Yeah.
apart from watching the your little laser lasgun doing naffle against some units.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the problem too. Though is you shoot, you're like, I'm gonna shoot, boom, and nothing happened. Good job, guys.
Oh, there's really old, when, because Black Library released short stories on things left, right, and centre to, they put pieces out to see if anything grips and goes straight, and maybe we need to do a book on this. And one of them was it was from a Tau perspective they were fighting the Imperial Guard. And there's this commander talking to his lieutenant or whatever on the Tau army, and he's going, just as a question, would they not do more damage if they weren't shooting us with little laser beams and actually using something? So I just don't get it. It's just because the tower's so far advanced in terms of technology, using rail guns and all this jazz. They're why are they using light beams? It's a bit weird. It's just funny. So
and it is 100% accurate too.
It is.
You're
Absolutely.
Really, what's the point?
Although, to be fair, I would love to be in a Lehman Russ, just devastating a battlefield. That'd be fun.
Yeah, but I feel like that's the only way you're actually going to do any real damage.
It would. That or Heavy Bolter Squad. Oh, actually, if the Carskin squads, if you're able to come in as a Carskin, the super elites trained by the bloody Commissar Guild, that squad could be fun. That could be like ODST, but for, but instead,
Yeah,
Actually, you know what? Just give us Star Wars Battlefront as 40k. Pick your faction.
most people I know would be down with that. 100%.
Absolutely. Oh no, you would. Suddenly, and there's a hero. You drop in as like a dreadnought on the Space Marine side, or suddenly, can you imagine the Imperial Guard? You get to be Creed. Creed.
What was the Rambo one?
Marbo.
Marbo.
Oh my god! Suddenly he's just on the battlefield, killing everything. The fact that this one guardsman took down a Warhound Titan with a knife,
with a bow and arrow, just going.
With a bow and arrow and a knife, he takes down a Warhound Titan. That'd be funny. That'd be hilarious. God.
Yeah, I know.
It'd be the most ridiculous. Because honestly, Star Wars Battlefront was a hilarious game anyway. Especially when suddenly Luke Skywalker's into the battlefield. It's like, I'm a stormtrooper. I don't want to be. Where's Luke Skywalker?
I don't want to be here no more.
I don't want to be here no more. That was always the funnier bits of playing Star Wars Battlefront sort of thing.
Yeah.
Can I just say, you're a sod for last week. I have listened to the Need for Speed Underground soundtrack so many times this week.
Where did you get it?
On Spotify. They've got the playlist on Spotify. Oh yeah,
I can't do I can't get into Spotify and I can't get into TikTok.
Right, listen.
And then you send me shit on TikTok and then you're like, you got to click on it and it's like, pretty much it's like, no, you can't watch
but
it.
You're doing the same. I don't have Instagram anymore. I got rid of it.
Oh, don't you?
No, I got rid of it. Although the only way, I worked out the way to watch it is that if I go on you send me your link. I copy the link. I go into incognito mode, and then I'm able to watch it.
On that case, then I'll just do what I did with Cherish, where I just put it on the I just put it in. I just download the actual video and send it to her because she can't log on. And I'm like, all right, cool.
Right. Yeah, no, I got rid of Instagram ages ago because I realized I wasn't using it for like anything. And to be fair, I've realized actually the older I've gotten, I sound really like an old man now when I'm going to say this, but I just don't use social media. I can't be bothered.
No.
The only thing I'm using it for is as a general birthday reminder or keeping up with, there's an event on locally or something like that. I barely use it. So I think my wife's a lot better at using it than I am, but I just can't be asking. It makes me sound like an old man. It's because I am an old man. Sort of thing. Yeah, but still.
It is one of those things though. Like I use it for the website, but I don't really care that much. And then occasionally it's like, such and such is its birthday. I was like, all right, cool. I'll message him. But like other than probably Messenger as well, where it's good to sometimes just be able to chat. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. But yeah, I don't know. Like I don't get it.
Yeah, it's social. It's the modern day and age. Is how all the kids connect with you, does, and everything else. God forbid.
The problem is also too though. There's now like 1,700, and everybody uses different ones for different things. And you're like,
yeah. Well, the fact is that originally, all you needed was Twitter. Was the original. Like if you had Twitter, you were fine. But then it was like, oh no, now Instagram's the big hit. Oh, okay,
yeah.
All right, so I need Twitter and Instagram. Oh no, now you need TikTok. As well. Why? I've got 2 already. I don't need the 3rd one, but apparently you do. And it's just, and then suddenly there's Tumblr, and it's just like, seriously, I can't be bothered.
The thing that I found weird is I was on YouTube because I often watch videos on YouTube. That's kind of the one that I actually kind of stick to mostly.
I stick to YouTube as well.
But what I found so weird is that I found this one, and this guy's like, oh, how much do you reckon I make off TikTok? Okay. And it's this Australian guy, and he's like, so you're getting hundreds and thousands, sometimes millions of views a month, and you're making 0. He's like, yeah, and supposedly there's no content creator thing for TikTok for Australians.
Oh, okay. So what? So essentially it's America only, or probably America and Europe, and that's it.
Yeah. God, well, I know that Ireland also doesn't have it because there's another guy on there that has moved over to TikTok. So he's like, he's got the program formerly known as Creative Program, is a rewards-based thing designated to foster thingo. It doesn't say what countries are involved.
Yeah. Beer. Sorry, opening beers. I don't want it to explode everywhere. Anyway, the one thing I do want to discuss this week is Chaos, which is the new Netflix show, which Des already mentioned, which is quite frankly brilliant. And now it's brilliant. It's not just because of the show or the way they've directed or anything like that. I'm going to explain why I think it's brilliant. It's brilliant because all it's doing is retelling the really old Greek stories but with a massive modern twist on it, which is essentially if you were to take all the original Greek, if you were to take the original Greek stories, like I think we mainly focus on this series. I think it's on Orpheus, the bard, Orpheus. But so in terms of the Greek mythology, it's quite late on if you think about it. So essentially, it's taking that story and basically, but bring it forward to sort of 2020, whatever it is, whatever they've set it in, and so everything is basically the same as it's exactly how it would have been if the gods were carried on and alive. But then Orpheus is then doing his storyline in the 2020s. It is really good.
As in what? People have forgotten about him, so they're just up there chilling.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's like, oh no, everyone's praising it, it's like, because I was watching it in the first episode and kind of thinking, right, okay, is this if the Greek gods hadn't have vanished, or, trying to work it out, because my brain's going multiverse theory and all this jazz, and then I've just realised, like, I think we got to episode 4 and realised, basically, we're telling the original story, but in a very, very modern setting. So it looks crisp and everything else, and it's actually quite good. It's really
sounds
good.
Really weird.
Basically, the way I described it, I'd have to describe it because we were at a function last night for adults and with the rugby club, and I explained it to someone and said, basically, it's like watching Percy Jackson. Percy Jackson and the Olympians.
Yeah.
Great Disney show, by the way. But it's like, rather than watching kids doing all this Greek stuff, it's actually like watching adults, and it's actually like an adult version. It's actually really good. It's quite sweet. And the fact is, in my opinion, just seeing Jeff Goldblum as Zeus is brilliant, because obviously
it's a weird pick though.
Oh no! But if you think about it, right? I mean, I don't know how good are you with your Greek mythology, because I don't know what the education was like down here. But we had to study the Greeks and everything else from the British standpoint, and you know all the weird stuff that happens in Greek mythology. Yeah. The fact is that when you see Jeff Goldblum being the paranoid persona of Zeus, because he was paranoid, he was always paranoid about being overthrown and all this stuff. The fact is that Jeff Goldblum pulls it off beautifully. He's just that side of unhinged psycho that just works. Well, at the same time, he's like, he's like, wants the fun, but at the same time, it's like that he could just turn that dial ever so slightly, and suddenly he's like, he looks at the camera at some point, he's like, oh god, this is good.
It's weird because it sounds like he's almost like breaking the fourth wall as well, and
it is, but it isn't. It's like, I don't think actually there's only fourth wall breaks in this. No.
Oh.
No. I mean, we're watching. I mean, literally, it was really funny because, as we say, you normally watch a couple of episodes, see if you get gripped, right? We watched the first one, thought it was brilliant. Watched the second one, thought it was brilliant. Was like, all right, so we're watching the third one. Yeah. So this is me now, and we're watching the third one. And literally, bear in mind, it's like 10 o'clock at night. We were like 9:30 at night at this point. And we're like, how many episodes are that? Oh, there's 8 episodes. Well, what we could do is just watch another one, and then we're already halfway through the season, because each episode is leaving you on a good cliffhanger. It's not like, dun dun dun. It's like, ooh, I'm intrigued now. So literally, it was just that every time. It's like, we could just watch the 4th episode, and then we're good for the rest of the binge watch the rest of the season in one night.
Oh god.
Yeah, that's literally, we ended up going to bed super late, and we were both knackered and exhausted, sort of thing. And not in the good kind, sadly. But anyway, it was just one of those sort of, it's kind of got us gripped, and I don't know what it is about it, but the effects are really good in it, and everything else. Like the way the gods are portrayed as well is quite sweet. Because
like how do they do that in regards to? So do they actually have godly powers and stuff? Like, do you actually?
So yeah, I mean, how do I explain? So
do they still do godly things? Like they just do they
so
still
far.
have
So far, we've seen Zeus, who he's conducted the sky and done his thunder thing, but obviously he hasn't like channeled it and fired it or anything like that. You get to see Hera, and you get to see all about her background. And I mean, to be fair, from the story, for anyone who has understood Greek mythology and read into it, we all know how much of a how do I put this in a nice manner? How much of a witch Hera is.
To be fair though, like if you were married to a man that just constantly seemed to cheat on you, you probably wouldn't be.
Well, to be fair, it is her brother for a start off. It is her brother for a start off.
Fine, it worked.
And to be fair, she's not exactly a celibate herself for a start off, because they actually do. You get to see Poseidon in it as well, and that's who her interest is. So that's interesting. You don't get to see. He hasn't showed any powers yet. And then the only other god we've seen so far is Dionysus, who's the other main kind of storyline around the Orpheus thing. And he's the god of pleasure, so it's god of pleasure and all that jazz. So he's you've seen him in scenarios, and he's like, it's quite, some of them are very risque, just FYI for an audience.
That's weird, man.
It is quite good. Honestly, I don't know. I'm actually looking forward to watching the next 4 episodes, because hopefully we get to see some of the other gods. It would be interesting. But the fact is, it's mainly like Zeus being unhappy because he's like Olympia Day, and the main storyline is that Zeus isn't happy because none of the other kids have come home. Only Dionysus comes home to see him, and all the other kids don't speak to him anymore. So he keeps and there's one point where Jeff Goldblum is leaving because they're calling on old landline phones, the wireless ones, like the big, so the big chunky ones, and he's dialing.
I love it. The old one.
He's dialing, with the antenna. He's like, he's dialing. It's a great nostalgia thing, and he's dialing up the other kids, and he's leaving voicemails. But the way he addresses each of the kids is really funny. He's like he ends up ringing Aphrodite. He's like, "Hi, Aphrodite. Hi, it's Daddy." Because obviously she's probably the favourite. And then it's like, Artemis, can you put down the books, please, darling, and just maybe give your dad an old dad a call back, please? Oh my God. I can't remember who he rings, and he's really short, and he's like, call me back. And it's like, oh God. But yeah, we get to meet Hades as well, and his wife Persephone, which is really interesting. That's the only thing I found a bit weird, because I know the Greek mythology, Persephone and Hades have a very big love-hate. Really big love-hate relationship. They don't. Well, so far I'm only halfway through. I haven't really seen a lot of hate for Persephone. She's tried to go behind his back a little bit, but that's not hate. Sort of. Yeah, it's like everything I remember about Persephone is that she actively rebels all the time against him. Sort of thing. So I haven't seen that yet, which is interesting. So I'm looking forward to seeing a bit more, sort of thing. As we say, so far, just for I'll tell you what, actually, the people they got for casting was brilliant as well. It is generally, honestly, it's not, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's Netflix, and they can throw money around, can't they, quite frankly. But
they can to an extent. They can to make a great series just to be like, and axe it.
Yeah. But honestly, they have got a really good cast. I mean, let's see, who did they get? They got what's his name? Yeah, they got Stephen Delane as Prometheus. Obviously, they got Jeff Goldblum as Zeus. Janet McTeer, she's Hera in it, which is really good. And what's his name? Who plays Poseidon? I'm just double checking who Poseidon was. Because I always butcher his name. Cliff Curtis plays Poseidon.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah. Isn't he a Kiwi fellow?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, no, he's a Kiwi fellow. Yeah. David Thewlis is Hades. He's doing...
Which is a bit weird because he played that in Wonder Woman.
I'll tell you what, he's Ares in Wonder Woman.
That's right, yes.
Ares God of War in Wonder Woman. I'll tell you what, it's very different. Too. Because to be fair, the last... I enjoyed, what is it, the Clash of the Titans movies was the last Greek... So apart from Percy Jackson, but the last those ones.
What about Immortal with? Do you see Immortal with Harvey? Oh, what's his name? Henry Cavill in it, where he finds the bow. Also, I've said this 3 times, but Billy Piper's in it.
Yes, Billy Piper's in it. Yeah, Billy Piper is in it. It's interesting. I'll tell you what, Eddie Izzard's in it as well as one of the Fates.
Oh,
He's
that's sick.
And I tell you what, it's quite fabulous, literally, because like suddenly you just notice all these little these personifications of characters, and it's like, oh yeah, Eddie
That's so
Izzard is a
weird.
fit. That's quite good, actually. So it's like, yeah, that's quite good. I like that. But yeah, there's a
It's weird
lot.
because it doesn't come up on the actual cast here. But
Immortal. Ah, yes. Oh
do
god,
you
yeah, I
remember that?
remember this. Yeah, I remember this. God, that's an old 2011. Jesus.
Yeah, it was an old one.
Jeez. I mean, yeah. I mean, God, yeah. I didn't enjoy that as much as Clash of the Titans personally.
Yeah,
I like Clash of the Titans. I think, but then again, I like the original as well. So it's kind of
yeah.
it's very Jason and the Argonauty, the Clash of the
I
Titans
love
movies.
Jason the Argonauts. I just
Great movie.
so much.
Yeah, I mean, God, I used to remember watching that as a kid, and it was just one of those sort of great. But yeah, so far, honestly, chaos wise, I actually really highly recommend watching it because I'm looking forward to the rest of the season as well, just so I can watch the other 4 episodes and see what other cameos we're gonna get. Because I kind of feel like there's loads of cameos coming.
I was going to say, because there's so many different Greek gods on so many different levels that they could bring in, or they could also make up ones where it's like Greek god of the corn. You're like, wait a minute.
But yeah,
Because you know how some of them had others, and then there were like underling gods that they put in there. Like, I think there could be a lot they could do with it,
yeah.
but it's still strange.
But honestly, just for Jeff Goldblum, a lot. Actually, the one thing that's quite cool as well is when they're in the underworld, everything's black and white. So suddenly it goes from being all beautiful and color when they're in the overworld and in Olympia to no, they're in the underworld, so it has to be in black and white. Just to that distinctive difference, and it's quite good, sort of thing. You know, you just end up watching it and go, yeah, that's quite cool, sort of thing. But yeah, there's so many good things. Also, the fact is, I haven't watched any Terminator Zero yet, which is the new Japanese anime version of Terminator. That's available
Oh
on
yeah,
Netflix.
yeah.
Yeah, we talked
Is that
about.
also on Netflix? Yeah, yeah. Because I saw an ad for that the other day. And it looks all right, but it's like if you're not if you don't like the anime art style, I think it's going to be a really weird watch.
I am interested to see how they pull it off. Obviously, I am a big fan of anime. In fact, I am going to be getting a Crunchyroll account because big news on that front this week. Crunchyroll and I can't remember the other big. There's another big streamer of paid content for anime, and they got together and they collectively sued all these I think there was like 50 odd websites that offer it for free. You know, obviously there's ads and stuff like that. That's how they make their revenue. But basically, so 50 sites got shut down because of it, sort of thing.
Oh, I
Because
heard
they were
something
in
along those lines.
because they were in breach.
Somewhere in Asia, they
Yeah.
went through and there was a massive torrent site that got shut down, and then a whole heap of other ones.
Yeah.
I know the torrent site that I'm using currently has a gone ... forever, and then has the stone thing with the cross and X23. But that being said, though, they also said gone forever like 2 months ago, and then they just came back.
Yeah,
So
it's
people are
one
like
of those
unsure.
things of I mean obviously my site that I normally use hasn't been hit, sort of thing, which is fine. But I already know it's on borrowed time because it was very close in name to another one, and so the fact is that I know that it will be on the radar, sort of thing. So I am planning on just getting the Crunchyroll account because I had a look last night and it was really funny actually because I was talking to my neighbour who we were at this rugby do last night and just said because I know he's got an account and I said, oh, is there a referral program because I'm thinking of getting one, so you know you get a benefit, I get a benefit, crack on. And he was like, oh, let me just quickly look through the app, couldn't find one. I said, oh, it might be free, you have to go through the website because sometimes they're a bit weird like that.
Because
and he quickly had a look. Nope. Crunchyroll do not do any kind of referral system, and I was like, why don't they? Why would you try and give your members a tiny little benefit
or any benefit whatsoever? Like that's really weird.
Honestly, it was just odd, sort of thing, and I was like, why? I mean, to be fair, don't get me wrong, that Crunchyroll is actually quite reasonable in comparison to paying like a year out in Disney Plus and all that jazz. I get that, but God, it was just, why not have a little referral system just for a bit of not cheapness, but like a little an
Like
incentive,
a little thank you or something, yeah.
yeah, just
Like it's
tiny
weird though, because so
incentive.
many sites do that now, where it's like, oh, we'll give you like $1 or you'll get half price off, which is weird because Cherish obviously went on to the Fire Stick, and on the Fire Stick you can go through and there's a whole heap of apps on there that you can get 7-day free trials. And then what happens too though is if you cancel them, it'll actually say, oh, for $3.50, which is like half price, you can get the next month. I was like, you'd think it'd be easy just to be like, how about this? You refer a friend, you get 50% off.
Yeah.
And if that person stays on for say 12 months, we'll give you a free month or something like that. Like
just something minor sort of thing. It doesn't have to be anything big. But yeah, it was just a bit weird that the fact that there's like Crunchyroll don't offer that as a service, and it's funny how lots of other people are like, why aren't Crunchyroll offering this as a thing?
Yeah, because I guarantee, because their probably biggest seller is probably word of mouth.
Absolutely,
it would have to be.
No. I mean, no, to be fair, they do a really good job of advertising on YouTube, sort of thing. They're all over the show, especially when a new big series hits. Suddenly, there is an advert up, and it's like, come watch it exclusively on Crunchyroll, sort of thing. They're really good about that. But in big news,
That's also because I don't like anime, so it doesn't probably come up for me.
I'm probably on the algorithm, that's why. But on big news, one show that we do both love is Ted season has been confirmed for season 4.
It has officially been confirmed.
It's officially been confirmed.
I thought that was rumors.
And it is expected that we get Ted back. I don't know how they're going to do that. That's going to be big sort of. How would you bring Ted back into it? I mean, I don't think, obviously he can't come back in as the manager, obviously, because Roy's now running it with Beatty and all that jazz. So I actually think maybe there'll be some maybe they're calling him, or he comes along and tries to help out or something or other sort of thing. I think that's the way they'll probably try and pull it out of the bag. But
you sure it is? Because I've just got one here that's telling me it's been cancelled.
No, it came up literally the other day. Yeah, totally.
Is it here? This is from, what is it? The Economic Times. Apple TV's upcoming thing has gone viral on social media for all the wrong reasons. While a section of citizens have criticised alleged move by makers, there were more rumours that the 4th season of the Apple TV has been cancelled.
No.
It says Hollywood Insider Thingo has claimed that Phil Dunstan, who won't be returning to feature in Ted Lasso season 4 as Jamie Tart.
Yeah.
So there's like a few here that says that there's a few ones.
That's the thing that they're because I saw it the other day saying that Hannah Warrington's confirmed she'll come back. Roy Kent's back. Like half a dozen of the cast have said that they will come back for it, and there are some that haven't made yet comment on it.
This is saying that some of these are saying that there's a few that won't be returning and it may be cancelled.
Oh, okay. But the fact everybody wants it. Everybody wants it.
Yeah, according to this, Forbes as well also has this. Ted Lasso may not be returning, with several stars not returning.
To be fair, I think you could pull it. You can pull it off without the entire cast. You can. I think you've just got to do it in a really good sort of manner. Like, obviously, like they dropped the hint on like the last episode where Keely was pitching the women's team. Setting up a women's team,
cool.
Which could work. That could work. Quite interestingly, sort of thing. But I think one thing you could do, which would be quite interesting to do, and I thought about this the other day, and I thought it was a bit of a wild idea, but can you tie it to Welcome to Wrexham in some way? So,
that'd be fun.
Involving Ryan Reynolds.
What I was thinking that they might do? What I thought they might do is that Hannah sells the actual the team, and then what they do is she ends up buying an American team. And that's the way you can get Ted Lasso in.
That's how you get Ted Lasso back in, yeah.
I mean, and then they also poach a whole heap of people to come play over there, possibly. So I'm like, that's a way.
That's a way as well. That is a way as well.
I'm just trying to think, because that'd be a way to bring Ted Lasso back, because he obviously doesn't want to leave the States because of his kid and stuff. So you're like, the only other thing I can think is they kill off the wife, and then he has to take care of the kids so he can actually live in the UK and come back.
Yeah, no, but that is, I don't think, I don't think that would work. But it is, Yeah, I think actually, yeah, your idea would be good. But I think mine would be rather interesting because that way you can have all the casts, but not all the casts. So if like
Yeah,
say
and
Matey
also,
Boy from Jamie Tarr doesn't want to do sign up because you could have Roy involved. Roy Kane could suddenly they propose, oh, we want you to teach the women's team because the men's team's doing so successful, and they could have that not all that noise in the background, can't they?
yeah,
And he's focusing on why am I on earth am I trying to teach this women's team when I've got the boys handling the men's team, and they're doing so well. They could be an entire. It would be interesting, sort of thing in the long run.
yeah,
Mainly because we all want to see him and Keely get back together as well.
yeah. It would be bizarre. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I don't know. Like, the question is how they're going to do it.
Mm.
And I think that's the hardest thing, is that it's not that easy where, especially if you haven't got people returning, and especially like with somebody like Jamie Tart, you're like, the problem with that too, though, is that he is such a pivotal character, like to the point where you've literally threw Roy out of it, then you brought him in as the new kind of guy. I think it would be really hard to try to do that in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And I just don't know how they're going to do it. But and especially when Lasso said he was going because of his kid, like, how are they going to do that? Where they're going to be like, and that's why I thought the only thing I can think is maybe they bring it to America and they allow the America thing to pick up somehow, shape, or form. But I'm like, I don't know how it's going to get done. And that's the weirdest thing is, like, I'm sure they'll find a way. But
the big question is that can you have Ted Lasso series without having Ted Lasso in it? And it's like,
yeah,
and that's kind of like, yeah. I mean, I'm very much I kind of agree with that because he did make the show. It's the entire he's the bumbling American who's actually quite smart and intelligent, but he doesn't understand the concept of British culture, which is football and beer and all this jazz. So even though Americans do share some of it slightly with their American football tendencies, it's not quite the same. So likewise, I can understand if they were to do it in America as well, you would have to have Hannah. You would have to have Hannah Warrington's character struggling with that concept, and I don't know if it works quite as well, sort of thing. So that would be interesting. Yeah.
So just FYI, 3 hours ago there was a publish from Screen Rant.
Yeah.
And it's saying that Jamie Tartt reportedly not returning, and Jason Sudeikis' return is still unclear.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay.
It's one of those things. It's like, and it is like, don't get me wrong. Like, I get that obviously, Jason's coach stayed there and stuff, and they've probably got enough players that they could roll it. But I honestly think they just need to make it into a spin-off. Like, they can't just have a Ted Lasso without the Ted Lasso part. Like,
yeah, I think if they were to focus on the women's team and it's Ted Lasso, but it isn't Ted Lasso. Same club, say you could have some cameo because even then you could have cameos. I guarantee Matey Boy will come back for a cameo episode. Jamie Tart will come back for a cameo episode and all that jazz. So you could have it as it's Ted Lasso, but it's not Ted Lasso sort of thing. You could do it that way, which would be quite good.
That's the only way I can think they can do it. Is they have to be able to bring it back in a way where, like, I generally just think that it's going to be one of those things where it's going to have to be a cameo, and it's almost going to be centered around obviously Hannah's character, still having a team. The female team idea is great. I'm just trying to figure out how they're going to do that in a way that makes it like just cohesive, and that they're going to be able to do it. Because I just don't know how they're going to do it, to be fair.
Yeah, no, it would be interesting. But no, so yeah, so there's been lots of little bits and tidbits of news. As I say, I think Helldivers, Arrowhead have mentioned, the CEOs mentioned that they massively fucked up and everything else. So I think at this rate, I don't want to say they're in their death spiral sort of thing. I pray to God they're not. I think they've got only like 4 weeks left to pull out of their 60-day deadline that they set themselves for some stupid ass reason.
So what is it for? I don't understand it.
Oh, basically, because there was lots of complaints and everything else by the community, and basically the new CEO said, right, here's our 60-day plan. We're gonna fix this. Now, technically, if you were to be a lawyer and read their oh, this is what we're going to fix in 60 days. There's only two things that they have to fix because there's two definitive things that are measurable, shall we say. Whereas all the other 8 things or whatever it was are very, we aim to do this. And all that. It's very language based sort of thing. So technically they got 60 days to do 2 very minor things. And they've kept their word and everything else. I think what they need to do, realistically, is ideally, in an ideal world, one, they get PlayStation to back down from the PSN thing, which
if they can though, that's the biggest problem.
Which they're not gonna. Which PlayStation aren't gonna. They're not gonna back down. They're not gonna back down. They want numbers and all that jazz, and I get that. But at the same time, is that this was a game. I think the only way to pitch it to PlayStation was, listen, this game was pitched as Game of the Year, which it was, and everyone loved it. If you revert on this, we could maybe get it back. Maybe. And that's a big maybe, I'll tell you now. Right, okay, they're going to have to... Likewise, they're going to have to fix a load of nerf issues and all that jazz and actually put some work in, which would be interesting. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, the fact is that they've had lots of communication errors that have occurred because, they of course, the studio where studio is based, they had 6 weeks of holiday sort of thing, for public national holidays and all that jazz because it's part of the country, whatever. Fine. But they had like a skeleton crew running the dev team, and it wasn't well thought out. So, it wasn't a good time for them to take a holiday break and all that jazz. So, but anyway, we've got another 4 weeks ish to hopefully they can turn the boat. Hopefully they turn the boat around and everything else. But I'll tell you now, the content online that I get seen on the algorithms is. There's a lot of hesitation on whether it's going to do it, and the problem is Space Marine's out this week, and
that's the hardest. That's going to be the hardest thing is that even if you can fix this in this next couple of days or next 40 days, at that point you're going to have that come out that is just going to destroy you. Yeah, and the problem is you've got Helldivers coming out pretty much. But in an IP that a lot of people love.
Yeah. No, to be fair, it's like the one complaint I have now, because I'm at the stage where I've unlocked everything. I've unlocked every Warbond and everything on that. I've unlocked every ship module and everything else. I've maxed out on requisition slips, sample loadout. I am ready to go for the next. When they say, here's a brand new thing, it's going to be majorly bought out quickly because I've already got everything ready to go. Yeah. It is literally now the one thing that a lot of people at my level, because I'm level 102 out of 150, I've got over 300 hours in this game. I am, I'm not a great player by any sense of the meaning. The fact
I'm the king of the world.
Oh no, I'm not king of the world, Jesus Christ. But I am up there with all the rest of them, and all we keep saying is, give us something to do. Give us something to spend our money, because essentially we've got all this in-game currency and nothing to do with it. We just want to waste our, I'll throw my samples into this and that and do that. Because they talked about having a weapon customization thing, or the fact, actually, no, we've got a major order at the moment that's going to unlock a new stratagem. So everyone's kind of focused on that. And it's like, of course, because it's new toys. Seems though they gave us the last new toy for free because we didn't want it.
That still makes me laugh. I would have laughed more had you guys actually managed to make it.
If we had done it, honest to God, it would have been. It was already meme worthy, but it would have been hilarious even more.
Oh man, they would have lost it. They were like, how? Like, we just need to make something like 10 times as crazy now.
Honestly, it would have as well. It is just funny as. Yeah, so honestly, this is the thing, I want Helldivers to do really well because it was such a good game, and it still is. It's like I jumped on today and I played like an hour and a bit today. I had a great time. It was really funny because I ended up randomly joining a squad. So there's me, who's like 102, there's a guy who's a level 135, another guy 106, and this random guy who's level 30. But of course, it's not his ship, so it's one of the higher level guys. And of course, we land in the perfect spot. We're just carrying on. It just felt this guy was just, come in. Because us three just knew what to do. It's like, yeah, land here, so take that. Oh, stratagem to do this. We were just. It was coordinated list, and none of us are using a mic. It wasn't like we're communicating effectively. All we're doing is tagging and acknowledging and and it was. Even
That is the funniest thing.
Ed was sat next to me. He's like, "Do you not need to tell them what you're doing?" I went, "No." I said, "We've got this. Don't worry." It was just really funny. He just found it. He thought it was hilarious how I could literally run around a map with 3 other people, but it was just perfect synchronization and organization.
That's the funniest thing though. Like when you talk of like special marines and stuff like this, like when they do it, that's how they do it, because they just do it so much that it becomes second nature and they don't have to talk.
Well, this is the thing about all squad games, is that once you find a squad, you either find a squad that you play with all the time and you just learn that. But you get games that are live action like this, and you can join a squad. But the fact is that you've got the majority of them we've been here, we've done it. This is where we're picking it as a landing site, because we know that if we land here, we can then just do a big clockwise circle, end up a thing, and we all extract and crack on.
It's just funny.
And it is the fact that we were running around just like, I think on the last set of missions we did, we ended up walking. So the super samples, which are the super rares and everything else, they used to be only at level 7, and they ended up dropping them down because people complained because it was too hard.
Naturally.
So we ended up, literally, I think on L3 missions, we ended up collecting the max amount, and it was like, yeah, we're doing well, boys. Yeah, we were just maxing out samples left, right, and center and cracking on, and it's just like, yeah, I don't need any of this. I didn't actually need to stop and collect any samples for anyone. I was doing it because I assumed naturally that my teammates needed them.
It is kind of funny though when something like that happens though. But like, I don't know, like I feel like it's one of those games that I think they're because I don't think they expected the hype and for it to get this crazy, that they're struggling to also try to figure out what what they need or what else that can happen. So I'm like, I think it's hard.
I don't know. I think the problem was that it had. I think essentially, if it had half the hype happen, would it have been? Would it have been? It might have had the same issues. Like say every other issue had occurred, it wouldn't have been as bad. The fact is that literally it hit the ground. It hit the ground. It got legs underneath it, and everyone went mental. And it's really funny how, like, the other day I saw there was this Dune game that's coming out, Dune Awakening or something like that, and it's very similar to Helldivers, because obviously it's the loyalists versus the separatists and blah 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 blah. It's very Battlefronty, but it's the same thing, and it's just like, this is interesting. We've got another live game and all this. There's lots of these games coming out at the moment. I know that, funnily enough, that matey boy from Starship Troopers who plays Rico, I can't remember his name.
Casper Van Dien.
Yeah. He did a reaction to Helldivers, like lots of clips and the trailer and all this jazz. And he was like, the fact is that, but he kept talking about this Starship Troopers game that's coming out, or it's come out.
Yeah,
or something I
think it's come out from memory.
Yeah, but the fact is that you look at it and it's like, yeah, it's good, but it's not as fun sort of thing. But he was adamant that that Starship Troopers was better sort of thing. But but of course he has to say that because it's not his IP, but he's so linked to it that he needs to promote it no matter what.
Yeah, and it is hard too though, because I mean, like, he could also in theory somehow manage to get another movie out of this as well if he wanted to. But I think the thing is though, what's weird though is I think had Space Marines got released, I would say 6 months ago, when that Helldiver hype came, I guarantee, and they released it then and there, I guarantee that Helldiver hype would have disappeared in about 18 seconds, and I think they would have run away with it. And I do think it would have been better for the game, where now I feel like people are like, oh yeah, Helldivers is cool, but it's starting to lose that luster. And now releasing another one where I feel like it's either going to get that hype if it's, and to be fair, I feel like it just has to be as good as Helldivers to be able to take off and be something big. But I'm just like,
No, I honestly, I'm in full agreement. I think would there have been any competition if Space Marine came out at the same time? No. I think people would have played it and been talking about it, but I think, as you said, long run, it would have been better for it, sort of thing, because they would have had to compete. Whereas they ended up launching and it caused a tidal wave, and I think they got swept up, and it was like, oh my god, sort of thing. And yeah. So
I don't know, like as much as I do think that Space Marines is going to be sick. I'm not taking away from that, but I do think though that it's now that Helldivers is starting to come down, the PlayStation 2, the PlayStation thing's happening, and I do feel like it's kind of killed the hype a little bit. So unless it can kind of hit this bit running and come out swinging real bad, I have a feeling that it's just going to be this short spike, and then I think it's going to fade out a little bit.
No,
and that's what I'm afraid of.
Agreed. Anyway, we're going to end the episode there because I have to edit and I want a short episode.
Good reason.
For good reason.
Good reason.
For good reason. Anyway, much love, people. Thank you very much for liking and subscribing. Please make sure you do like, share, and everything else. It does help all the algorithms. You can see our beautiful faces at Dorks Down Under on YouTube and as well as Spotify. And please make sure you do follow us and everything else and blah, blah, blah. We can crack on with that.
Blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah. I honestly, I'm several beers deep. I'm amazed I'm speaking, quite frankly, because I'm also busting for it as well. So I want to say a big thank you to all our recent likes.
Good reason.
I want to say, yes, I am busting. And I'm busting out this shirt as well. I need to get a better one. Anyway, so
he's like, I took my apron off, my tits are still showing. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, I know. It's all this straight, super linear cut and all that.
It's more just it's a weird cut of shirt, where it seems to go halfway down your shoulders and then go in.
Yeah,
go straight down.
I know. Well, originally it didn't do that. I think after all the several washes, it kind of has done that sort of thing. So I might as well wear a crop top. Anyway, much love. Thank you very much, people. Catch you guys later.
Peace.